This year alone, the West has lost over 50,000 millionaires in search of better places to have a happier, safer life. But one of the number one reasons why the wealthiest people are escaping the West is due to high taxes. And the destination which is becoming the most popular is Dubai in United Arab Emirates. You've probably seen it plastered throughout the internet that Dubai is a tax haven where the world's wealthiest can pay 0% tax on their income. Now, Dubai has a 0 to 9% corporation tax, depending on how your company is structured, but that is still way favorable than Western rates. However, as amazing as Dubai is, and I do recommend Dubai for a large majority of clients, Dubai isn't the only option. And in this video, I'll be giving you 5 other countries that you can move to pay lower taxes, irrespective of where you're based in the world. Whether you want to go and live in South America, Southeast Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, or Eastern Europe, there are destinations all around the world where you can legally reduce your taxes to nominal amounts or sometimes even zero. Now, firstly, we need to define what taxation means, and there's really 2 main types of taxation. So in most Western countries like the UK, like Europe and America, they will impose what's called worldwide taxation, which is tax wherever you're based in the world. The US also has citizenship-based taxation, which just by virtue of holding a passport, they're going to tax you, which is why it's smart if you're a US citizen to relinquish your US citizenship so you don't get dragged into the American tax net when you're not even living in the country. Now, worldwide taxation is used by most Western countries, but territorial taxation is tax that is only on locally sourced income. Meaning that if you've got clients, you've got customers, you've got banking, you've got management and control that is offshore in another country, you don't get taxed on that income, which is very, very favorable if you're a nomad or expat living around the world, but you don't necessarily want to pay local taxes. But before we go into the first country, there is a really important caveat that you need to know. Just because your clients are based offshore doesn't always mean that that income is foreign sourced. And different countries and different regions define foreign source and locally sourced income differently, which means if you set up incorrectly, you can end up paying local taxes in some of these regions. So if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll be showing you exactly how to set this up properly. So the first country in this list is in Southeast Asia, and that is Malaysia. Now, Malaysia offers the perfect blend of comfort, convenience, and affordability. The capital city, Kuala Lumpur, has everything you need when it comes to a metropolitan city in terms of infrastructure, connectivity, transport. It's extremely convenient, also very safe, which is really, really important, especially if you've got dependents, you've got children that you're looking to relocate, you're obviously going to care about their safety. And Malaysia definitely has that box checked off. It's also a good geo arbitrage country, which means you can live very well for less. You can find a 1-bedroom apartment in the capital city for $800 to $1,200 per month. You can save 40 to 50% on Western costs just by relocating to Malaysia. Malaysia also has an eclectic range of cuisines from all different parts of the world, from their own dishes to Chinese, to Japanese food, to Korean, to even Italian food. So if you love eating out, Malaysia is going to be a really good option. And currently Malaysia offers territorial style tax treatment, which means you only tax on income that is locally sourced to Malaysia. However, Malaysia is in the process of reviewing in terms of what counts as foreign source income and locally sourced income. And it's predicted by 2027, some of these tax treaties could change. However, for the time being, it's a territorial tax country. And I think this would be a really good option if you are looking to have a Southeast Asian base. So maybe you love living in Thailand or you love living in Bali, Indonesia, but you don't want to be dragged into the tax net in those countries because those countries are really great lifestyle bases, but they're not the most favorable when it comes to taxes. So you might spend half the year there in Thailand and the other half the year living in Malaysia, so you can enjoy the best of both worlds. You can use Malaysia for the taxes and also the lifestyle as well. I'm not saying Malaysia is a terrible place to live. It's very, very nice to live there. But you might want to spend your time in another country like Thailand, where you can stay there for up to 6 months and not become a tax resident, provided, of course, you don't have any key center of life interests in Thailand. You might use Thailand for networking. Bangkok's really good for that. Lots of nomads and entrepreneurs. So you can split your time between those 2 different countries, one for lifestyle and one for taxes. Now, if we go to Sub-Saharan Africa, the next country is Botswana. Now, Botswana is a very peaceful and stable democracy. They've not had any internal conflicts whatsoever in the history of them being in existence. And also their neighbors are non-aggressive. South Africa is not aggressive, Zambia is not aggressive, Namibia is not aggressive. So in the, I would say, likely event that in the next 5-10 years, we do enter a global war, you won't have the fear of being blown up by a nuclear bomb. You leave it all to the West and China and Russia, or being constricted into the army. But not only on a geopolitical level is Botswana very safe, but also locally, walking around is extremely safe, which is very rare for an African country where, safety can be very inconsistent at times. Like pretty much all of the countries on this list I'm about to mention, it's also great for lifestyle savings. Gaborone, which is the capital of Botswana, is a very affordable place to live. You can find a one-bedroom there for about $900 to $1,200 a month, way cheaper than the West. The currency they have there is called the Pula, which is going in the right direction compared to the Rand. And just overall, there's lots of great benefits about Botswana. And of course, Botswana is a territorial tax country. Now let's head out of Africa and go to Central America, in a place known as the Miami of Central America. And that is Panama City in Panama. Now, Panama City is extremely livable. There are many safe districts which you can stay in, including Punta Pacifica. And unlike most other Latin American countries, they run on the dollar, which also kind of makes things a bit more expensive as well. Now, it is more affordable than the West, but it isn't as affordable as the other countries in this list. But when it comes to taxes, it's purely territorial, and the residency there is very simple and easy to get. Now, Panama City is known for its hustle and bustle, but Ascension, Paraguay is best for people that want more of a slower pace of life. And in terms of cost of living, Ascension is dramatically cheaper than Panama City and other Western countries, meaning you can truly reap the rewards of geographic arbitrage. You can expect the local people there to be quite friendly, and it's also safer than most other South American countries. But not only does Paraguay operate on a territorial tax system, but it has one of the easiest tax residencies in the whole world in terms of the minimum stay required. After you've opened up a company, you only need to travel there once every 2 years to keep your tax residency status, compared to all the other options in this list, which are required to stay there for minimum 183 days to get tax residency. And this list wouldn't be complete if I didn't mention a country in Eastern Europe, and that will be Georgia. Now, Tbilisi, Georgia is Europe's most practical basis when it comes to taxation. And like many other options in this list, it's also very, very affordable to live there. Now, Georgia has quite a few options when it comes to taxes. Not only is the taxation territorial, meaning all your foreign sourced income is not taxed, but if you've got locally sourced income in Georgia, you can pay 1% tax up to $185,000. Pay 1% tax on a 6-figure business, which when compared to all the other options on this list, if you end up getting dragged into the local tax net, you only have to pay 1% on that income. But here's why most nomads and expats get really confused when it comes to territorial taxation. They assume that just because they have a business and they're making money in any of these territorial tax countries, they've got clients in the US, in the UK, in Dubai, they don't pay tax on that income. That isn't necessarily true, and it depends. So if you're a freelancer or you're a solopreneur, as in you're the only person in that company generating value, delivering services, doing client work, that income in a lot of these territorial tax countries can be deemed as locally sourced because it's you who's carrying out the services in that country. So if you want to qualify for foreign source income, you need to prove that the economic substance of that company is offshore. Your contractors, your employees, your sales team are all in a different country. And then if you pay yourself in dividends, and then the income from that company can therefore be deemed as foreign source, and therefore you pay no taxes on that income. So in a nutshell, especially if you're running a service-based business, maybe an advisory style business or a high ticket service agency style business, and you're the person who's actually carrying out the services for your clients, but you're just a guy on a laptop doing it from that country, that all count as locally sourced income. For it to be foreign sourced, you need to prove that it's an actual business and it has economic substance outside of that country. But as long as you check those boxes, you can qualify for 0% foreign income tax. Now, there is another caveat I want to mention as well, because people assume that foreign income is like what you pay yourself as a salary. Foreign source income in a lot of cases isn't personal income. That's income you take out of your company and pay yourself. That will be considered as foreign source dividends. And depending which country that you decide to live in or split your time in, maybe you choose any of these places as tax bases and you have another lifestyle base elsewhere, if you're paying yourself a salary in dividends, then you pay the taxes on that income. Now, these dividend taxes vary, but they're going to be relatively low compared to how much revenue you're making in your company. You pay a little bit of tax, feel like you're contributing to society, but you're not being, quite frankly, abused by Western tax brackets. Now, depending on how you want to structure it, you might have a US LLC. In most states, you pay no corporation tax on that income, and you obviously have to declare your personal tax residency somewhere. You might pick any of these 5 countries as your personal income tax residency, and you pay 0% taxes. Maybe you draw yourself a small dividend from that, and then your total effective tax rate goes into the nominal amounts. And there we have it. Those are the 5 countries based in all different types of the world. You notice I'm not location agnostic. I'm not just saying go to Southeast Asia or go to Africa or go to South America. I picked from all different parts of the world because you don't need to go to Dubai. Dubai is not the only option. I know for a lot of people like myself, I do enjoy Dubai as a place to network and to meet entrepreneurs who motivate you to go to the next level, but it isn't necessarily a place where I feel the most happy. I feel like everyone should go where they feel the most comfortable, where they feel the most peace, and in every part of the world has something to offer. I hope you did enjoy that video. Please smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.